In terms of specific benefits that I think my residential college gains from how it was designed, let's just start with where I live. My place is beautiful. My living room is huge. And so when I try to host students and they walk into my place, the message they receive is, this was a place that was designed to host students. My bedrooms and my living spaces are upstairs. So my family's allowed to live two lives, you know, one that's semi-presentable and one that is less presentable with little worry. I think the fact that we have, in addition to my office, I office in my residential college, we formed a partnership with a humanities program called Great Techs, where 6 of their faculty office in a residential college. They may or may not be substantively involved in the daily life of the college, but they're there. That's their sole office. So they're interacting with students. Even things like, we designed it to where our residential college only has one entrance. Everything else is an emergency exit. So students have to walk by one another in order to go in and out of the college. We have a classroom that's really nice that faculty fight over to use. We have a library that students want to use. We have a spiritual space. We have a great hall that really does look like Oxford, Cambridge, or Harry Potter, if you will, where students love to eat in there. So when you walk into the space, it's purposeful. The academics, the social, the spiritual, the community outcomes all flow together with the design of the space. Students have 24 access to all of our spaces. And those are the kinds of things that I think create synergy around the things that you want to do, because it's really easy to say we want students to do these things and then not supply the spaces and places for them to do them. But when they see that money and thoughtfulness has been directed toward these spaces, then they're going to follow naturally to do the things that you intended and hoped for.
A residential learning community at Elon looks like my home. As a live-in faculty and residence, I'm faculty director of Global Neighborhood, so I live within one of our largest first-year neighborhoods. So I have an apartment where I live with my husband and my son, with almost 600 students within this space. So physically, it looks like several buildings that are around a common quad with classrooms inside the buildings, with so 2 faculty members live in our neighborhood, 1 staff member, a graduate apprentice, we have a visiting scholar apartment, and then student residences. We also have a number of offices in the neighborhood, so our core curriculum is placed in the neighborhood, our global education center is placed in the neighborhood, so we continually have people going home, going to work, going to class, moving in and out of the space, and joining our community for a variety of different events.
As campuses are thinking about designing residential learning communities on their own, at their own institutions, I think they have to really think about what the student wants. And I think they have to also be thinking about who are the students that are coming onto their campus. And so one structure of residential learning communities on a particular campus may not be as effective on a different campus if the cohort or the demographic of students is shifting or changing or is very different. And so I think it's important that institutions are really reflecting deeply on who it is that they're enrolling and then allowing that to then drive the type of residential learning community program that they're building, designing, or redesigning on their campus. That within higher education, I think one of the mistakes that we make is that we build things with our impressions in mind and not with the student impression in mind. And so I think that we really need to look at our students, whether we're doing that through focus groups or conversations with students, or whether we're using pre-enrollment data as the means to drive our decision making. I think that we really need to look to the students on our campus and allow that to be the determining factor.